Hello everyone, in this video I'd like to make some changes to the banana holder and the water bottle holder that I've done in the previous two videos. So on the water bottle holder, because it's still a little bit flexible, I'd quite like to make some reinforcement bits going across. I won't make any changes to the actual style of the product, it's just going to give it some reinforcement bits coming across. That won't be too hard to do. I'd also like to sort out that knobble and kind of make that flow in better. And this cutout at the back, make that flow nicer with the rest of the style. And then I'll also probably print that in light grey rather than dark grey, because at the moment I'm currently running out of dark grey. And I'd also like to prove a point that it can be printed in different colours. And then with the banana holder, at the moment there's two different sizes that I can fit in and out like that. I think because there's a few different parts and no doubt people lose them and stuff like that, what I'd quite like to do is make two notches on each side, and I've got here some elastic, so I'll put it through each side and then sew it up so it's across there, and you can just pull it out and put your banana in. And then that'll probably make it so then you can actually put chocolate bars and stuff in as well, and that elastic will just hold anything in place. I want to shorten this and then make another little foot here so then it holds the chocolate bars in place. So that's what I aim to do today. It might change as I go along, but yeah. So as you probably noticed if you're watching the 3D printer, that little fin there really struggled to print off the support that it was on, because it was so out of the way that it kept on waggling. That's what I was hoping that wasn't going to happen, but it did. So the next print, if I cut that off there, just separate the two halves, then print that bit separately and then kind of glue it together after, I think that'll use a lot less material because it doesn't have to have all the structural supports, and it's a lot less likely to go wrong. So I've now sewn a little bit of elastic on there. The branding looks alright. I think it needs to have that bit thickened again because it gets a little bit bendy. Those were a little bit of a fiddle to get out. So that one was 2mm thick and that was 1.5. I did that to test what thickness it needed to be. So obviously it's easier to get them out if it's 2mm, so I'll make them 2mm now. I tried to put that over there with a pin quite tight, because if I put the chocolate bar in there, it holds it quite alright. It needs to be a little bit further towards the back, so then it holds it tighter. But then, if I have that bit of elastic there, it makes it very hard to get the banana in, and you can't at all, really. There's no give. And then, what I found is that the base needs to be a bit further out. So that's not much of an issue anymore, because if I'm separating them into two separate parts, then I can make that bit bigger anyway, because I don't have a restriction of the print bed. So yeah, that bit seems to work. What I would quite like to do is have a separate part here that you have the option of where to put it on. So you just clip it in different bits for whatever size thing you have. So that's what I'm going to try and do now. So as you probably realised in my assembly, I've slightly changed this because this snapped in half, so it snapped off. And if I was to go across, there's no range really for different sizes that I can fit in there. There's not much give. I was thinking of something sliding in at different notches, but then anything cut out of that will just make it so bendy and it's going to just break. So instead of that, I realised that in a previous project I've done, I've made a phone holder for a glove box of a car. I made a bit like a toggle of a backpack. So it just slides across, so you can adjust it for length like that. So that's what I've done. So I've made it adjustable for different thicknesses. It's got a smaller and a larger setting. So the larger one is for bananas, like this. I've made the end so it shouldn't wobble about too much. It's got a little bit of give for the different shaped bananas because they're all quite different. So it's to cater for all of them. Just simply take it off to adjust, thread it through the bottom one, like that, and then through the top one again. There we go. So that's all set up for the smaller one, which is for chocolate bars, and then it's got the foot at the bottom to keep it in. So that shouldn't jangle back too much. Well, you can do it up tighter, like that. So it has a little bit of a wobble, but it's as good as it can be. So that's a very good thing. So what I want to do is make some reinforcements on this, and also because I had to print this in 2 separate bits and then super glue it together, super glue is quite unreliable and takes a long time to set. So that should be fine like that, but what I want to do is try and experiment with some different permanent clips. So you just clip it in and it'll be there for good. So I want to do some experimenting with that now. So it's taken a few goes to get this to this point. I started off with little triangle parts that should fit in like that, but when I tried to, that bit flicked off. And that's because that has no give. That's quite a strong piece, so it has no give to flick around and come out the other side. So I did a similar approach with this, but then had it covered, because with the first one that could just come off. It's not held down in that plane. So on this one I've made a little notch out the center so it could flex, but I found out that wasn't flexible enough. So I did this one, which was, it snapped, so that's not good. I made a little window so I could see when it was engaged, and what I worked out was that this hole wasn't wide enough for this, so I increased it, and this one works. It does disengage again, but you can simple enough get it back. So what I'd like to do with this one is, if I point to it, the horizontal line across there where it engages into, I will cut out a bit lower, so what you might be able to see if it zooms in is it's not properly come apart yet, so it's gone in and sort of engaged. So if I make that cut out a little bit deeper, it's going to go all the way, engage, and then that'll be it. It'll be permanent fixing then. And I'd like to put it on the bottom here. So if you imagine that there, it's a little bit thicker, so I'm going to have to thicken the bottom, but that's not too much of an issue. So yeah, I shall print another one of these with this mechanism in it. But first off, I'm going to make some changes to the main bottle holder. So this is the banana holder and the water bottle holder fitted together. This is essentially the furthest I can go with it, really. I feel it's very functional and ticks all the boxes, really. So it's using a minimum amount of parts. It's able to be 3D printed from my small print bed, and it doesn't really have that much like waste from supports or anything. So it's quite cost efficient, really, and it's quite strong. So when it has this on it, it's not actually that wobbly. It's not as bad as it was because I've put the bottom bit on and the extra ribs around the outside. This is all thickened, so it's not going to wobble. What I'd like to do in the next video is have like two next to each other of these. So then you can have a banana and then a chocolate bar, or two chocolate bars, or whatever you want, really. You can customize what you're taking on your bicycle trip, because I know that some people go on longer journeys and may want two rather than just one. So that'll cater for them. All of the writing parts, they can be personalized, because 3D printing, it means you can print anything you want, really. So I can just change that for customers. That'll be quite good. So yeah, I think this has got to the point where I want it, especially for the second option. So first option, just a water bottle holder on its own. Number 2 with a banana holder, and then number 3 is 2 holders. So 3 options, and then I've got a few different colours. So yeah, join me in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.